If you're traveling around the state, you need a place to eat, whether it's the Southwest, the Southeast, Central Missouri, Northeast Missouri, Northwest Missouri. There's plenty of places locally that you should find out, and we're going to find out more about those today on St. Louis in Tune. Welcome to St. Louis in Tune, and thank you for joining us for fresh perspectives on issues and events with experts, community leaders, and everyday people who make a difference in shaping our society and world. I'm Arnold Stricker, along with co-host Mark Langston. Greetings to you, Mark.
Greetings and salutations to you, Arnold.
I haven't heard salutations for a while.
I don't know. That might be a word for the day sometimes.
Yeah.
What is salutations?
It means like a salute, like a hi, how you doing?
Oh, okay. Howdy.
What's going on? What's shaking?
Tip of the hat. I know.
Tip of the hat.
I know.
Not the Cardinals hat.
No. Yeah, I
know.
I
won't go there, though.
No, I don't know if when you're listening to this, but we're getting ready for the World Series. And the Cardinals aren't even we were just talking earlier, former Cardinal players are in it. Many.
Right. There was going to be a former Cardinal player that's going to win a World Series ring.
That's going to be nice. Good for them. Too bad the rest of the city can't.
Like that.
Right.
Well, we can celebrate a return to civility, and we always encourage people to be civil. And this one happens to deal with our theme today. And it says this: at a restaurant, assume that the host is trying to find you a table as quickly as possible. Try not to keep asking every 5 minutes if something is available or glaring at the host until they call your name. Or shaking your watch or looking at your watch.
No. All right. I'm bad in a different way, I have to admit, because I don't like sitting next to the bathrooms. I don't like sitting next to the front door. I don't like sitting next to the kitchen where there's all that activity.
Now, I like to look into the kitchen, when they have a counter set up. I don't mind. That's fun.
Yeah.
You get to see what chef's doing. And
I don't know why I'm that way. I just don't want a lot of people.
Now, the restroom, I understand.
Yeah.
Next to a restroom on a bus.
And the front door. I've sat by those.
Okay. Especially in the wintertime.
And a waiting list. Then they're all standing right next to you.
Oh, yeah. That's annoying.
Yeah. I don't want to go into it too much.
Obviously, you have some experience with that, Mark.
Yes, I have. And I just know. So that's my pet peeve.
Okay.
Yeah.
At a restaurant, folks, assume that the host is trying to find you a table as quickly as possible. And we're going to be talking today about food, recipes, places, food traditions in the Show Me State. It's kind of Missouri comfort food. And on the line is Portia Moran. She's an author and marketing communications professional. And in the parking lot right now is Matt Unger, who's an author and a director of food service. Portia, welcome to St. Louis in Tune.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I know Matt's on his way. His directions were a little cloudy, but the sky's clearing up, and he's on his way. In looking at your background, first of all, I have a question. Did you go to Homewood Flossmoor High School?
Oh.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so I knew you're from Chicagoland. You're from Homewood, and I think there's only one high school area up there, Homewood Flossmoor. I was a little familiar with that. But you've done a lot of things as it relates to marketing online, and I had a question about the Her magazine that you started. That's an online magazine, is that correct?
It's a print publication. I'm sure. Yeah. There's some digital elements as well. But yeah, me and another person started the magazine, and I'm glad that it's still going, and it seems like it's going strong.
And is that based out of Jeff City, or where's that based out of?
Yeah, it's out of Jefferson City. It's part of the News Tribune, which is the paper in Jefferson City, and the Her magazine is an offshoot of the newspaper.
And what was the impetus for you getting behind writing, going from Chicago to Mizzou? I know Mizzou has a wonderful journalism school, but did you just all of a sudden start reading newspapers when you were growing up and you were like, yeah, I'm really getting into this. I like doing this. What was that start point for you?
Yeah, well, I've always loved writing. For as long as I can remember, I've loved writing. I started out mostly doing creative writing. When I was younger, I would just write stories and make things up and write little stories, and always had a notebook and pencil and pen with me. And then even in junior high, we had the little newsletter, and I would write restaurant reviews of local restaurants. And then when I got into high school, I wasn't really sure how to make writing a career. I really had no idea of how I could do that. So I got on the school newspaper, and that's how I got more into the journalism side of things, and was an editor on the school paper. And then, like you said, Missouri has the best journalism school, or one of the best, and that's what brought me to Missouri, was just the great journalism school.
And you've worked in a variety of papers. You have worked in Jeff City area, mid-Missouri. You were actually also working for the Boone County prosecutor, or the Boone County City of...
Oh, yeah. So my first job out of college was as the PIO and grant writer for Boone County. So basically, their public relations, and I was the first person to have that position. So
that's an honor. It's a way to really establish some new territory there. There's no expectation because nobody's done anything, and you just can run with that.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I've had several positions like that throughout my career, where I was the first person to do it and got to establish some things.
Now, how do you get outlets like Forbes and USA Today and NBC News to pick up something that you've written? How does that happen?
I did some freelance work for a website called Investopedia, and it was a lot of financial, personal finance stories. And so that's where a lot of those articles were picked up from. And I didn't really have anything to do with it. I think just that website just got a lot of attention, or maybe they pitched it out, but yeah, that's where those articles were picked up from.
And so as you started to, I read that you were contacted about this book, and because of individuals at Reedy Press had read a lot of your materials in the Missouri Life, and Missouri Life's a great publication. We've had some folks on about that. And so now you've written this book in Missouri Comfort, and tell us a little bit about your place in how you worked with Chef Matt, who just sat down in the chair across from me. And did he give you here's my recipes, this is what I like, now write it? Is that what he did?
No.
How'd you go about doing that?
It was a lot more of a collaborative process than that. But yeah, Mathew and the publisher knew each other already. They were working on this idea, so when I came in, they already had a basic idea of what they wanted to do, but we collaborated to come up with how we wanted to format everything. And the original idea was to include recipes from restaurants around the state, and as we started to go down that path, we realized that was not really getting the best response. It was difficult. With restaurant owners have a lot on their plate, they have a lot to do, they're short-staffed a lot of times, so it was difficult to get a lot of traction on that direction. So we decided to go more into the different categories, different ethnicities, different categories of food, and just build out the recipes around those categories and have Mathew create his original recipes from that.
That sounds good. And Chef Mathew, welcome to St. Louis in Tune.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry I was running late there.
No worries.
To add on to that, yeah, I like the concept that the finished product of the book, better than what we had originally anticipated. We still give recommendations for restaurants in Missouri. You could still go try some of the food, and then you have the option of making it yourself, because there's 8 to 10 recipes per chapter on this as well.
Oh, yeah, and looking at this, Mark, there's restaurant. And folks, if you got to get the book, because if you're traveling around the state, and let's say you're down in Cape Girardeau, you can find restaurants down in Cape Girardeau that are listed in here. And I guess my question for both of you is, how did you find? Did you travel around and go, okay, I need to find the best this, and this is what I've heard, and then you checked it out, or how did you do that?
So we conquered and divided. Portia lives on the west side of the state. I live in St. Louis, east side of the state. So I was very familiar with a lot of things locally and travel quite a bit on the east side of the state, so I'm very familiar. But also we're lucky that we live in this age where there's the Google machine, and we could do a lot of research that way.
I love the book.
Honestly, it's a fun concept.
It is a fun concept. It almost is like a St. Louis book or a Missouri book, because every page, honestly, Matthew, and it's just amazing as you page through it, you just stop. There's Italian, there's St. Louis, the pizzas, the beef and the pork and the ragu, and they're all those St. Louis dishes that I've grown up with that I love. And I'm looking at them going, this is great. And it gives a complete recipe for them.
And you hit it on the head. They're Missouri recipes. They're St. Louis or Missouri recipes. So they're not necessarily traditional Italian recipes per se. When people immigrated here, there weren't all the same recipe or all the same ingredients. Even the proteins were a little bit different with what they used in Italy. So the original Italian recipes were morphed into these types of recipes that are truly, if you will, Missouri Italian recipes.
Yeah, I appreciate that you really chose a lot of ethnicities, German, Italian. You get into some Irish, you get into some soul food, some African-American food, and then some the Cajun stuff, Mark. I'm just all over that stuff.
It's amazing. It's a great book.
And it's the food in Missouri it's ever changing. What we decided to do was get a base of this is where we are right now. And Portia and I were discussing just recently, we don't have Mexican or Thai or some of these that we're seeing come into the marketplaces right now, but we're not seeing as big of an influence of what it has built in Missouri. This book, written in 20 years from now, will have 2 or 3 more chapters added to it.
It'll be much different.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is where we are right now.
And we have a chapter at the end of the book talking about the evolving food scene, so it's almost like a preview to what things might be in the book, like Mathew said, if we did this 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah, and I want you to both go into that a little bit, because St. Louis for, 20 years now has been a great food scene. It's been, I don't want to say dissed by nationally, but it's been passed over. Gerard Kraft got the James Beard Award, but Food and Wine has had several St. Louis chefs. Kansas City's getting their due. They have a great food scene up there. Talk about the Missouri food scene and where you think it's going to go. I want to start with Mathew, and then we'll go to Portia.
Sure. I think it's especially in St. Louis, and I'll talk about that because that's where I live and what I know the most, and what a lot of your listeners are from. I challenge anybody to go to another city and find as many good restaurants as we have and talented chefs that we have in St. Louis. It's taken for granted. I was just out west and ate at an Italian restaurant that was supposed to be very good, and they thought so too by their prices. But it was not as good as most of the Italian restaurants here in St. Louis, and it's just the quality that you're getting is unbelievable. We're a gem that nobody knows about, and part of me wants to keep it that way.
Yeah, I get that.
I do. I understand that.
Portia, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that was exciting about writing this book, was looking at some of the national recognition that the state is starting to get. Like you mentioned, Food and Wine magazine, and they had an article about their readers naming St. Louis the next great food city. And there were some other national awards and recognitions that I found that I mentioned in the book that restaurants around the state have gotten. And James Beard Awards, several restaurants in the state have gotten those. But yeah, it's exciting to see where Missouri's going, and I think that people are starting to see that it's not a flyover state, and there's lots here, and I think people should definitely, if they're not familiar with Missouri food, even if they live in Missouri and they're not familiar with what's available across the state, definitely explore and see what we have to offer.
Yeah, it'd be like show me comfort food.
Exactly.
I know. It's got fish in here, like trout, things to do with trout.
Yeah.
And the one chapter is all about food that's indigenous to Missouri. So, rainbow trout down in southern Missouri, nothing better than getting it fresh out of the water and eating it right away.
No kidding.
This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston of St. Louis in Tune. We're talking to Mathew Unger and Portia Moran. Do you go by Portia Moran-Murphy or Portia Moran?
I go by mostly Portia Moran-Murphy or Portia Murphy.
Okay, all right. So we're talking to Portia Moran-Murphy, and they're here talking about their latest collaboration, Missouri Comfort, and it's a great book on food. It's available from Reedy Press. Mark, I bet these two, maybe they realize this, but they have a couple things in common. One is California, and another one is London.
What?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Okay,
and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Like, Portia has a distinct familiarity with California, Missouri. Okay?
Oh.
And Matt has a distinct relationship with California because that's where he went to the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America, not the Central Intelligence Agency. Okay. I'm not saying he's not intelligent. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. And also London. Matt went to school in London, and Portia spent a semester of school in London. Now, did you guys both know that you had this London-California connection?
Had no idea.
No, I did not.
You learned these things on
that?
St. Louis in Tune.
That's why we're here, to learn.
Now, I want to give a couple other things. Portia has her own media company. And describe that a little bit, because then I'm going to get into Matt's background. You want Matt or Matthew?
Whatever you want to call me. I've worked in kitchens for 25 years, so I've been called all kinds of things.
Yeah. And we haven't worked in kitchens, and we've been called all kinds of things, too.
We still are being called all kinds of things, right?
Tell us a little bit about PRN Media.
Yeah, so like I said before, my background is in lifestyle journalism, and I've done a lot of food and travel content and other lifestyle topics. And so that's no longer like my main or my full-time job. I'm more into marketing, and I do a lot of healthcare IT marketing now, but on the side, I still do freelance work in the kind of that lifestyle journalism arena, and so that's my freelance business.
So how does someone see your work? Do they hear your work? Would they know that it's your work, or that you're just contracted through a third party?
Yeah, so I write for some different publications like Missouri Life. Done several things for them over the years. In the past, I've worked for Inside Columbia magazine. I write articles for some magazines that's like the Ozarks, and my name is on those articles, so people would know that I wrote those.
And you've just not started doing this. You've been doing this for 10 plus years.
Yeah, I've been doing it for quite some time now, so got a lot of bylines out there.
A lot of bylines, and that's good. And Mathew, Mark, what's interesting about him, he's just got a varied background. He was a great stockbroker. He went to Missouri State, got his business marketing degree, went to University of London, went to the Culinary Institute. Then he was, Mark, I bet you didn't know this, he was executive chef at the MAC.
No.
Missouri Athletic Club.
Did not know that.
For a little more than 7 years. He had his own restaurant, Mathew's Kitchen, on the Hill. Now he's working, and I love this, he's director of food service for a group that it's
Midwest Petroleum, which is weird, right? For a chef to work for a petroleum company, right?
But it's a favorite restaurant down there in Cuba, isn't it?
We don't have a restaurant in Cuba. We've just opened a new concept in St. Louis here, which are smash burgers made to order out of the convenience store. So they can go in, pay for their gas, grab whatever else that they're going to get, and order a burger, and we make it fresh. It takes about 5 minutes, and it comes right out to you. And if you look at convenience stores, when I came on with them, it was an interesting, why would a chef be interested in that? But it was interesting to me to build the program from scratch. So I've been doing this for them for about 8 years. And we have 60 stores. We have food in 30 of them, kitchens in all the stores. So we're making it fresh in the store. And then this new concept came up a couple months ago, and it's just been going crazy. The worst problem is keeping up on making the burgers.
I believe
so you're going to see 4, 5, 6 of these more in the St. Louis metro area in the next year and a half to 2 years, because we're really starting to build those out. But what really makes it is the blend of the beef. We sell burgers and fries, and we said we're going to sell burgers and fries made to order, and we're going to do that right. And so we have a blend of chuck, brisket, and short rib for the ground beef, and it gets nice and crispy on the flat top and just melts in your mouth. The reviews on all the burgers Go online and you can look. Everybody says, I had to wait a little long, but those are the only negative things, or nothing negative about the burger itself. Everybody said, but the burger was amazing. Melts in your mouth, and yeah.
Is that the recipe really that's in the book here? A similar one?
The one in the book is very similar in style. It's a smash burger,
right?
And the process of how to make the smash burger. The one in the book's a little special in that we do a bacon jelly on top, and bacon jelly and goat cheese with the beef, and it is.
Ooh, yeah.
It's amazing. It really is good.
It is very good. I luckily got to have it from Mathew directly, so I can vouch for it.
Yeah, we were doing the photo shoot, so I was making some of the food, and Portia, everybody got to try a piece of it. But that bacon jelly, you could put it on this book. And the bacon jelly is so good, so good.
And Mathew, why didn't you bring anything for us to try?
You know what? I will.
Sliders or something.
Gosh darn, you're making me feel bad. Now I'm going to have to go
slobbering all over.
All right, I'm going to drop some on later this week.
Man,
I will drop some on.
Midwest Petroleum. People wouldn't maybe know Midwest Petroleum.
No,
they don't have a Midwest Petroleum.
You're right. This station, it's in Sunset Hills, on the corner of Lindbergh and Gravois, and it's a Phillips 66.
Okay.
So we have all our stores are either Phillips 66 or a local branding, which is ZX.
Okay.
So we have a number of ZX stores. But yeah, this one's at Gravois and Lindbergh, big intersection, very busy. And our next one will be out by Lindenwood College in St. Charles, and that'll be in January.
Okay.
I know there's some other gas stations that are doing this. They're getting a full kitchen and doing fresh pizza or whatever.
The big boy here in town, obviously, is QT.
Okay, I didn't want to say that.
But if you go out to the West Coast, there's a number of people that go into Wawa's and Sheetz out in the West Coast, or East Coast, I'm sorry, and they'll get lunch and not buy gas or anything else. And we're seeing that with this concept. It's new to the market, but people are coming in and getting a burger and fries and a soda and leaving.
Why not? I know. I noticed it at Wally's out on 44.
Wally's does a ton of food, and you're going to see that. And it's convenient. What I'm trying to do is make the freshest chef's perspective food in the store,
which is great.
And so you're not just going there getting something because it's there, but you're actually going there to get that. And yeah, you might get gas or whatever else you need there, but they're going there for the food.
I wrote down Phillips 66, Gravois, and Lindbergh, and I'm going to go and try.
I will bring you a burger, but
that's all right.
But I challenge, find a better burger in St. Louis. And I love the guys down at Stacked. I love the guys at Max locally. These guys they have great burgers. Ours is better.
So, you're going to start a restaurant then?
So down in Redbud, Illinois, we have this concept, and we have seating and waitresses and so forth with the burgers and so forth.
Man.
But no, I think we're going to stick with put them in the convenience stores and have people buy them to order.
Seems like a best way to go, yeah.
Yeah, if you're trying to get a quick lunch and knock out a few things at the same time,
and I hate to say it, I miss Steak and Shakes. There was a big uproar. I don't know what happened with the franchises here, but
we could do a whole show on what happened to Steak and Shake. But
I mean, it was always a great one of those steak kind of burgers. This sounds like way better.
And this is honestly, as chefs, sometimes you work really hard on a project, and it just doesn't work out. And then sometimes you're trying to, and in this case, you're trying to recreate kind of what Steak and Shake had. And then this blend came up of the burger blend, and it's, wow, this is better.
Yeah.
And it was nothing I did. It just happened. Lucky.
Yeah.
And so we're going to stick with it. We think we got something special there.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's wonderful.
Kudos to both of you, because, what you do individually is outstanding, but the fact that you both collaborated on this book, and the reason I say this individually, because Portia, you are able to work at home, you're able to, get your work out not only regionally but nationally and internationally, and you can do that on your time when things are working out for you. Family is important, and Mathew, I know restaurants are big. I know a lot of chefs in town here, and it's a crazy business. It's a tough business, and people think it's, I can do this. But family is always, it seems, suffers. And you made the choice, I'm presuming, to move out of that kind of venue, still use your chef background, and spend more time with your family. And I know a couple chefs that have done that, and they've done well. And Chris Bolliard, who we had from Bolliard's, did the same thing. And Kudos to both of you because you're keeping some good priorities in your life. You're not letting the career kind of interrupt what's happening in your lives. And I just wanted to mention that to people, that people on their deathbeds don't say, gee, I wish I would have spent more time at my work.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where we were.
Yeah.
My wife was in the restaurant all the time helping, and it was truly our restaurant. And the kids were there. If they weren't in school and we both had to be there, we had a table in the kitchen for them, and they were growing up. But as they were getting older, it was harder and harder. Our lease was coming up. We had renewals and stuff, but we made the decision based on that. And that as the kids were getting older, we needed to figure out how to spend more time with them and be more of a normal family, if you will. And it's worked out great. I have my daughters just started at Coriezu, and my son's at DeSmet, and both doing great. I had the best Saturday afternoon ever last Saturday. The girls went to a Halloween deal over in St. Charles, and I sat in the backyard with my son, and we talked about colleges and
there you go.
his direction. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I was at a restaurant all the time.
And Portia, the fact that technology has worked so much now, you can do what you're doing at home, and you're not having to go into, quote unquote, a brick and mortar building and meet with other people and be on a staff, et cetera, like that. That has probably made your life a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. It's been great to be able to get into the more remote work opportunities, and it gives you a lot more flexibility. I'm a pretty early riser, so I can even knock some things out early in the morning, and that works well for me. And then also what's been really cool about some of the work that I've done is my husband's been able to join me. I used to do some research for Midwest Living magazine, and they would send me to different places to research restaurants and attractions and different lodgings and things, and my husband would get to come with me and be a part of that. And other stories that I've done, he's been able to come with me sometimes, so that's been really nice.
That's outstanding. We're going to talk more to our guests. We're going to take a brief break. This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston of St. Louis in Tune. Don't go away. This is Arnold Stricker of St. Louis in Tune on behalf of the Dred Scott Heritage Foundation. In 1857, the Dred Scott decision was a major legal event and catalyst that contributed to the Civil War. The decision declared that Dred Scott could not be free because he was not a citizen. The 14th Amendment, also called the Dred Scott Amendment, granted citizenship to all born or naturalized here in our country and was intended to overturn the U.S. Supreme Court decision on July 9, 1868. The Dred Scott Heritage Foundation is requesting a commemorative stamp to be issued from the U.S. Postal Service to recognize and remember the heritage of this amendment by issuing a stamp with the likeness of the man Dred Scott. But we need your support and the support of thousands of people who would like to see this happen. To achieve this goal, we ask you to download, sign, and share the one-page petition with others. To find the petition, please go to dredscottlives.org and click on the Dred Scott Petition Drive on the right side of the page. The United States has a strong tradition of welcoming newcomers and refugees. The Welcome Corps is a new service opportunity for Americans inspired to welcome those seeking freedom and safety and in turn help strengthen their own communities. Welcome Corps is a public-private partnership that is inspired by what Americans represent to so many around the world, a beacon of hope and refuge. All it takes is a helping hand. Are you ready to learn more? Contact the International Institute of St. Louis at info@iistl.org or call 314-773-9090. That's info@iistl.org or call 314-773-9090. I want to welcome you back to St. Louis in Tune with Arnold Stricker. That's me, moi, and Mark Langston. That's toi.
Yeah, you can't see me.
That's two.
I'm the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. We both have faces for radio.
Mathew and Portia, I opened the book, and there's 3 recipes right off the bat. Ham and beans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Chicken pot pie, that's got to be a St. Louis favorite.
That's a big one. I made chicken and dumplings out of the book last night.
And then a gooey butter cake.
Oh, yeah.
That is so St. Louis, I can't even tell.
Can't get any more St. Louis than that.
I know it. What a book.
Unless you're a toasted ravioli, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you probably get asked this question all the time. What's your favorite recipe?
How kids like, what's your favorite kid?
Here we go. Yeah, exactly. Portia, what's your favorite recipe in here?
One that I really liked was the grilled Caesar salad, because I'd never heard of that. I love Caesar salad, but I'd never heard of the grilled version, and that was really good. And also fairly easy, because I'm not a professional chef like Mathew, so I do like that in the book we have a variety of recipes that can fit every skill level of cooks at home.
And you may get to be like Mark and myself. I love to cook. It's a fun thing for me, and I'm going to try these.
Oh, yeah.
Because you go through these recipes. It's great to do that.
And Portia brought up a great point. None of these recipes are too difficult for the beginning cook. As you can see when you're looking at that, there are not a ton of ingredients, not a ton of steps. Virtually almost anybody can make these recipes. With that said, for someone like yourself who has a little more experience cooking and likes to cook and is in the kitchen, you can use these recipes and say, I don't really like oregano. I'm going to put basil in its place. Or you can tweak them a little bit to your liking. And so it's good for everybody.
Yeah, and there are chef's tips in here on each recipe, and I happen to be turned to the cast iron filet mignon.
Oh,
Just flipped open to that.
I know. It's just page after page, though.
So what's your favorite one? Oh, here's bacon jelly flatbread.
That's not a bad one. My favorite is, because they're all my recipes, which kid do you like the most? And my daughter. No.
Did you hear that, son?
Yeah, sorry, Eddie. The two recipes the two sections that really stick out are the German and Irish section, because that's my heritage. So some of those recipes, the soda bread recipe, the chicken and dumplings, Grandma Maher's recipes, right?
Yeah.
And then the German side, the chicken paprikash and the beef stroganoff or Grandma Unger's recipes. Those go back all the way to my childhood. Now, I had to put them into terms that people can read, not a pinch of this, cook it till it's done, and use the water. So that's what Grandma's recipes were. But just making those, not even eating it, but just making those kind of brings that back to me.
And that's the memory thing, Mark, as I read through this, and you were talking about your grandma's recipes, and are those... do you remember the smells? Do you remember what was going on? Did you stand by her and she goes, did you ever, she ask you to help or anything like that?
I really didn't. I was young when I was having these dishes, so I didn't cook so much with them. Although I remember on St. Patrick's Day, Grandma would make soda bread for everybody, make a loaf for everybody to share, and then she'd make a loaf for me to eat by myself. Those are the type of memories I make. I remember going to Grandma Unger's, and whenever I got to choose what she made, I would choose meat stroganoff. Now, I was a little guy. It called it meat stroganoff. It's beef stroganoff. But still to today, when I taste those dishes, it brings back those memories. It's really awesome.
But then you had a sister at Notre Dame when you were 9.
Okay, so yeah, that was my first experience in cooking. My sister, we lived up north in Florissant, and my mother signed my sister up for a cooking class down at Notre Dame High School, which was 45 minutes away. She said, if I'm driving there every day, you're going too. So she was 7th grade. I was probably 5th grade. I was 2 years younger. So I went, and I loved it. She hated it. And I made banana bread. That was the first recipe I made. And I came home and I made banana bread, and everyone liked it. And I was like, wow. Yeah. I like doing this. Yeah. I like making people happy with food. And that's still, to this day, the reason I cook. It's not necessarily to eat it or get kudos. I like making a good meal and people saying, wow, that was amazing.
That's a true chef statement. That's when you can tell somebody's a true chef.
Yeah, and honestly, you have to have the money to survive, right? But I'm not in it for the money. I'm really, the reason I'm in food is to make people happy.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Portia, what do you remember about growing up in food and that kind of situation?
Yeah, I was talking about this earlier with Mathew, but my dad's side of the family is Creole, so that was a lot of the dishes that we would have at home would be like gumbo and jambalaya and etouffee, and we would travel down to Louisiana at least once a year when I was growing up. Having that chapter in the book was really special to me. And my dad and my grandfather are coming to visit me this weekend, and I'm like, maybe I should make the chicken and sausage gumbo, that's Matthew's recipe, for them and see what they think. That was really nice. And then on my mom's side of the family, my grandparents are from Alabama and Mississippi, so we ate a lot of that soul food, and that was really a big part of things that I ate as well. Got to have a little bit of both of that in this book. That was nice.
That's great.
Why are y'all not on the Food Network?
Oh my gosh!
I'm not kidding.
That seems like a lot of work.
Like I said, yeah, I have to do it every week. That's true.
I don't like to work that hard.
I know, but these recipes would be great. I mean, what I've seen on the Food Network, this is like fun. This would be fun.
We've done some things here locally on some TV, and it's fun. I actually helped a buddy of mine, Father Dominic, who has been doing that for
long time.
Again, I don't want to age him, but 20, 25 years.
Wow.
And helped him out with some things. And I'm always willing to go on and help people with that. But so if the opportunity arises, we'll look at it. But I'm pretty happy in the situation I'm in right now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I get that because it's more time, and you wanted to spend that family time.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's huge.
But going to the Food Network, the diners, drive-ins, and dives inspired the portion where, we put recommendations of restaurants to go in Missouri to try some of these foods.
Oh, good.
So without that inspiration, I don't know that we would have gone in that direction. But I really like that aspect to support local restaurants and some of these great cuisines that we have here in Missouri.
Yeah, that was a great idea. Go ahead, Portia.
Oh, I was going to say, obviously the book is focused on food, but it's a travel book in a way, too, because obviously we want people to try the recipes and explore things in their kitchen, but also it's like a travel guide to Missouri. You can just drive around the state and see what's in every region, and hopefully inspires people to explore outside of their just comfort zone where they live.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's times when people will either go to the southwest part of the state, southeast, up north, central, KC.
Sure.
And we always look up, okay, if we're going to spend the night there, where would we want to eat?
Oh, yeah.
And because we want to eat at a good place, and you've already done some of the legwork there.
Laid it out, sure. Again, traveling with kids. Say we have to go up to Columbia, Missouri for a basketball game or something. And a lot of times we'll eat it fast food or whatever. But,
Shakespeare.
Yeah. So now it's, okay, there's some great restaurants there. And if you know where they are, you're going to eat there instead of eating at Applebee's or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you're supporting local, you're getting good food, and probably pretty close to the same price. So
I want to do the Kansas City because I always look for barbecue, but I want to look for something other than barbecue for a change.
There's a lot up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our daughter lives
I think
up there.
also the point about sorry. I was going to mention the point about supporting local businesses. We also talk in the book about supporting local ingredients and getting your eggs, your meat, your cheese, bread from local businesses that make it, local farms. And so I think that's something to think about as well. The farm-to-table scene is really big in Missouri. And so just thinking about that when you choose where you want to eat or when you're cooking at home, if you can include some local ingredients, that's really nice too.
That's a great point because there are a lot of restaurants that do advocate and advertise that way, farm-to-table. But you can actually sign up with farmers and have produce delivered or go pick it up. And I will say it's 1,000% better than many of the local grocery stores. Some of the local grocery stores, I don't know where they're buying their produce, but it's sure not from, seems like, farmers that are delivering things to individuals.
How about bacon jelly flatbread?
Yeah,
you put bacon in anything. I think I'm good for it.
We've got it.
You got it right there? Is that where you were going?
We were both,
we're all kind of like,
both on that
I
one.
know we're all pulling that way.
We're both on that
But
one.
I'm telling you, anything with bacon in it, I'm okay with that.
Ooh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, there are some presentation and book signings, and I don't know if both of you or individually are going to be there, but October 26th, that's this Saturday at the Kitchen Conservatory, and this is the new location on Manchester. So don't forget that, folks. They were located in Clayton on Clayton Road, and now they're in Brentwood on on Manchester, 9011 Manchester Road, just west of
Brentwood.
Another book signing November 2nd. Saturday at Grace Meat and 3. Say hi to Ricky for me.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a great chef. I mean,
yeah.
Super talented guy, just great, wholesome, down-to-earth guy. And I try to go there whenever I can. I know it's right down the street from here, but, man,
great place.
If you haven't been there yet.
Catfish and the chicken.
Yeah, the chicken is my go-to all the time.
Yeah, but be prepared if you really want hot.
Yeah,
because he can do it.
The hot is very hot.
Yeah,
too hot for me.
My youngest son Matthew found that place and just took us to it.
Yeah.
He's a foodie.
Yeah.
It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Rick's a great chef.
Yes, they're going to be November 15th, Friday at Bartolino's Osteria.
Oh.
That's the 15th of November. Here's some other dates, and we'll post these on the podcast. And they're on the west side of the state at Holt Summit Public Library, November 16th. Also, November 16th at the Southern Boone County Public Library in Ashland. Ashland's a great little community there. And at the Callaway County Public Library, Tuesday, December 17th. We'll post that, but check that out, and would be a great time to pick up a book, get it signed, talk to Portia and or Mathew about that. Are you both going to be at those, or individually, or how's that work?
We can split them up. Everything on the west side of the state, I've been doing everything local here. But yeah, grab a book, and Christmas isn't that far away. So if you have someone who enjoys this type of stuff, great time to pick that up, and we can sign it personally to them.
There you go. And you were both at the Missouri Book Festival in Washington, right?
We were.
Yes, we were.
We did a show on that. That's a great festival.
Oh, it's so much fun. We did a demo on Kansas City burnt ends and what to look for and the process to go through them. And it's always a good time out there. What a great little community.
Yes. Talk about that burnt end process for a minute there. Now you got me going.
Sure. Burnt ends are the top part of the brisket. The flat is the other part of it. So the flat's used for brisket, and then usually the cap is used for burnt ends. Now, when restaurants do them, typically they'll cook it all together and leave all the fat on, because they're selling you the fat as well, because they can. In the book, it shows how to trim that piece off and smoke that separate, or cook that separate. And you have to leave some of the fat on, but it does render out. And when you get that final product, it's lean, just melt in your mouth. You got to cook it a long time, but it's absolutely delicious.
If you want good food, you really have to take your time with stuff.
You do.
And not rush it. And
you do.
Now, Portia, I've got this question that's been burning in my brain here. You started collaborating with Chef Mathew. Did you start to up your game a little bit, or did you start to change up some recipes a little bit because of what you guys were working on?
Not really. I'm just so busy. It's hard to do a lot of cooking or spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So currently I really try to do things that are a little bit quicker, but I'm really excited for the holidays when I have a little bit more time. Try to incorporate some of these recipes into what I'm doing for the holidays, and I hope other people will do that as well. But yeah, like I said, I got to try some of the recipes directly from Mathew, and they were amazing. And
well, there's the solution.
I enjoyed eating.
You just need to move closer, because we eat like this all the time at my house. You just pop in.
How are you not a ton? How do you not weigh a ton?
That is difficult.
I bet it is.
Portion control.
No, can't do that. Not with you around.
So my question for both of you, apart from the book, what's your go-to food? Portia.
Oh gosh.
I don't know if I could answer that.
I love pizza. You mentioned barbecue earlier. I love barbecue. I'm more partial to Kansas City barbecue.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
too
Mathew.
bad. That's too bad.
Yeah, that was it's going so well, Portia.
It really was.
Really good.
It really was.
You got it all right, Portia.
Joe's is good.
Yeah, I know.
Joe's is very good. It's almost as good as Hogarth's or Pappy's.
Yeah.
Do you like Portia? You like thin crust or thick crust? Pizza.
Thin crust.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Well, there might be
There's
hope
the
for
right answer.
I
don't know. I don't know if she was telling the truth, but she said the right answer that time.
That's right. All right, Mathew. What's your go-to food?
As you can see, I'm not the pickiest person in the world. Man, I like it all. Locally here, I like to do Italian. There's a couple Mexican places I like to go to. Like I said, I love Grace Meat and 3. Love their chicken.
Yeah.
I really just love any food that's done. I really hate when I have a meal and it's because I'm hungry and I just ate something to eat it, because then I feel like I wasted a meal.
Yes.
So I always try and, as I'm eating breakfast, thinking about what I'm going to get for lunch.
Okay.
Bacon, mac, and cheese. Here we have another bacon recipe. I love this book.
I looked in here. There was a mention about lobster mac.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I didn't find it in here.
No, the recipe's not in there. Lobster mac is something that I've done a number of times, but to find that good quality lobster here locally right now is tough,
it is hard.
or very expensive.
Right,
so we tried to keep things that are pretty easy to find and
I'm
make.
looking for that from my wife.
Yeah.
There used to be it was called Max down on, what's that street down there? Gosh.
Hands on those buzzers, please.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it got to get Cherokee, Chippewa.
Okay.
And it's a biker bar now. And he had, it's great mac and cheese, huge portions. The salads were unbelievable. The drinks at the bar were horrible. And he went out of business. And it's now like D.B. Cooper's.
Okay.
And he had,
exactly
oh my gosh, the mac and cheese was great there. We had lobster mac and cheese there.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, I did one with Gruyere cheese, which is a really strong cheese, which I think because lobster has a pretty strong flavor.
Yeah.
So it could battle with the flavor, and so you're enjoying the mac and cheese and the lobster. Yeah, great dish, but hard to find good quality lobster here in Missouri right now.
I wanted to do a recommendation for bacon since we mentioned it
Yes,
so many
please,
times.
anytime.
Go for it.
I live in California, Missouri, so here we have Burger Smokehouse, and they have excellent bacon, and you can find it in, I think, most any grocery store you go to. I would definitely recommend trying their bacon and supporting a local Missouri producer.
What's it called again?
Burger Smokehouse.
Burger Smokehouse bacon.
Yeah.
How do you cook that bacon? Do you do it on a pan in the oven?
So I think the oven's the cleanest way to do it. So I typically bake it, lay it out on a sheet tray, put parchment paper down, easy cleanup.
Parchment paper.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
for easy cleanup.
We use
and I think you
tin foil or aluminum foil.
You could, that would work fine.
But I think
too.
the parchment paper, that's an interesting
and
twist.
It's easy cleanup, real even cook on it, and less chance you're going to get those spatters that come up and burn your arms and so forth.
You don't render in the pan with water or anything like that?
Nope,
Okay.
just bake it straight on a sheet pan.
Okay.
Yep.
And I agree, burgers we use it at the Kitchen Conservatory. We sell it in some of our stores at Midwest Petroleum. The quality of bacon you're getting there is quite unbelievable.
We're getting some major tips here, folks.
I'm writing that one down, too.
Yeah. You ain't a kidding.
You won't be disappointed.
Can you get burgers here locally?
Yeah, Schnucks has it. I know that for a fact. I don't know where else has it, but definitely
I think they have it at Walmart and pretty much any place where you see bacon, you'll probably find it. Hy-Vee has it.
Hy-Vee in Kansas City.
All right, the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
Osage Beach.
Yeah, a great product from California, Missouri. Wow. All right.
And that's something right here
We love it.
in the Show Me State.
I want to thank you both for coming in.
Don't let
and
him go
talking.
yet. when you barbecue,
Oh, he's got a lot of questions now.
brisket, do you do briquettes or do you use gas or is there
Lump charcoal?
It depends.
Weber grill?
It depends. I have a Weber and I have a gas grill. I also have a wood fire pizza oven.
We just got our first pizza oven.
Yeah,
we're
they're
still
fun.
learning.
They're fun. Yeah, it takes a minute to figure out, but once you do, it's really great. And you can cook a number of other things in there too. But it depends. If I'm barbecuing and smoking product,
We got a smoker too. Finally,
I'm going to use briquettes and chunks of wood. I like that better than the chips. I think that they last longer and they give it a deeper flavor. But if I'm just going to grill some chicken or something, fast, I just throw it on the gas grill.
Yeah,
Because the flavor is going to come from the seasoning you put on it.
Yeah. We just started putting wood chunks on the briquettes, and it makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
And we've got a smoker too that we've just got going in the last year, and that's fun to do.
Absolutely. And now it's to the point where everything's on your phone. It keeps the temperature exactly where you need it with some of these Traegers and stuff, and it feeds it it's like you're not even cooking. It's more of a science project than anything else. But however you want to do it.
It's those wood chips is what makes the difference, or whatever they call them.
Yeah, they use the pellets.
The pellets, wood pellets. Thanks. Yeah,
and it does a great job. But if you want to barbecue and have a few adult beverages while you're doing that and make a day of it, that Weber works great.
Yeah, we've got 4 different things out on our back deck to cook with.
Yeah, it just depends. To me, it just depends on what you're cooking and how much time you have.
Pizza oven is an interesting and fun thing to do, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get that mastered, too.
They've become very popular.
You got to make them hot, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't make our first round hot enough, I don't think.
Do you have a wood fire, or is it?
We have one that does both.
Okay.
It's a dual. We've done the gas. We haven't gone to the wood yet. We have a friend that has a wood, and he loves it.
So the wood, especially, for 6 hours, you have a fire in there.
Yeah.
And then when you're cooking it, pretty much you can take the fire out because the stones are so hot.
Right.
It just cooks in a minute.
Yeah, and it is that fast.
The gas one's a lot quicker and a lot more convenient, but then you don't get that smokiness of the wood in there.
No, yeah.
Now, Portia, don't you want to do that thin crust pizza in one of those wood-fired ovens?
Oh, yes, you do. There? Yes, you do, Portia.
Yeah, it would be great. I wish I had one in my backyard.
Yes.
Again, sounds like you just need to move to St. Louis.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
Everybody makes a pizza, Portia, and then we all share it. We all cut it up.
We'll all be over to eat.
Yep. We have a lot of different ingredients. It's a fun day.
We can share some of the best barbecue in the state by grabbing it from some of the local places here in St. Louis.
Well, put you for sale. Come on. Get over here now. Wow, we're almost out of time.
Yeah, thank you both for coming
I'm
in.
not
and
kidding.
talking
We are
to
almost
us.
out of time.
Greatly
Thank you
appreciate it. And folks, don't forget, you can get the book at Reedy Press. It's Missouri Comfort, Recipes, Places, and Food Traditions in the Show Me State by Mathew Unger and Portia Moran-Murphy.
Highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it, yes. Yeah. You need to try them out.
Come back again and see us, will
Absolutely.
you please?
I got to come back and drop off some burgers.
Yeah. And Portia, we want you. Yeah. Good.
Watch for Portia's reviews and articles in state magazines, Missouri Life, et cetera, et cetera. Portia, thanks very much.
Okay.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Mathew, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mark, let's just sign off here.
I think, I know. All right, let's do it. There we go.
We really appreciate...
Oh,
we're busy there.
Portia.
Thank you all for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, you can listen to additional shows at stlintune.com. Consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or your preferred podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and continue to grow. I want to thank Bob Berthasell for our theme music, co-host Mark Langston, and we thank you all for being a part of our community of curious minds. St. Louis in Tune is a production of Motif Media Group and the U.S. Radio Network. Remember to keep seeking, keep learning, walk worthy, and let your light shine. For St. Louis in Tune, I'm Arnold Stricker.